these two ideas have changed my life. Today we are going to be talking about my favorite non-fiction book of all time, Atomic Habits, and I will take you through the major lessons that I've learned from it. I hope you take away something useful from this video, and please let me know in the comments down below what your favorite lesson was. The first idea of Atomic Habits was the idea of 1% better. James Clear has described this as getting 1% better every day makes you about 37% better in an entire year. And that is a very innovative idea for somebody like me who's always stuck in that all or nothing mindset. We kind of don't want to do anything because unless we're doing everything that we plan to do, what is the point of doing just one thing, right? In this way, we can actually see that the power of compounding helps us. If we take one step towards our goals every single day, we are actually going to be in a very, very different place than if we did not take that one step every single day. Then that would cause a sharp decline. Next, since I mentioned goals, I have to talk about this because this was a revolutionary idea, and I've been reading other books related to productivity, and I realized that James Clear was not the first person to have said it, but he is the first person to probably popularize it this much. So here he tells that goals are useless. You are supposed to make systems. And I totally understand this point after he explained it. So he said that suppose your goal is to lose 10 kgs. What do you do after that? Are you going to go back to eating burgers every single day? Wouldn't that just keep up this loop of having to keep your goal as 10 kgs and losing it, and then just like, rinse and repeat? It doesn't change anything in your life. But with systems, they are essentially habits. There are a set of habits that you create and you perform all the actions in your life according to it. So if you have systems in place which encourage you to eat healthy, to exercise, and that is something that you never fall off track from, that is the track, that is your lifestyle, and you're always going to have a healthy lifestyle if you follow it. It's not just like you lose 10 kgs one year and then gain 20 the next, and that keeps happening. That is the key concept that he said, that you do not rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of your systems. That's one of my favorite quotes. Also, he says that goals are the same for a winner or a loser. The person who is winning at anything, the person who's a CEO and the person who's still in an entry level position like 10 years after they have joined the company, they both had the same goal. They both had the same goal to be successful. But they did not, because their systems are very different. Two people who set out to compete in a race, obviously their goal is to win the race. But of course, their systems that they have set up in place for themselves, that is not the same, and that is the competitive advantage that one person has over the other. So he says that always focus on systems, because goals are a thing that you set in a point in time, but that is not something that you continuously follow. It may be helpful to set a direction in your life, but then if you're always chasing goals, then you always feel like your happiness is in the future, and you never truly learn to be happy in the present moment. Whereas if you set up systems, you feel like this is something that you have to continue doing, and you find joy in the action of taking the step towards your bigger goals, right? So it's not like that you are waiting to be happy. It's just that you're happy right now. You're content right now. If there's one takeaway that you get from this whole video, it should be this, that you should always focus on systems and not goals. He says that your identity is way more important than your outcome. So if I say that I want to read 12 books a year, do I read? Is the question. Am I a reader? If I am a reader, I will read 12 books a year. He says that people first have their identity, and that around that they have their processes, and around that is their outcome. Most people go it from like the outside in. They first look at the outcome. What do I want to do? I want to read 15 books a year. And what is the process? How will I do it? And then at the core of it is what? Do I even do that? Am I a reader? That is like the biggest question to ask yourself. So he says that there are two people who don't smoke anymore, and both of them are offered a cigarette, and one of them says, no thank you, I am not a smoker, and the other person said, no thank you, I've quit smoking. Do you see the difference in the two statements? Because I am not a smoker is his identity. He is not a smoker. That's what he is. But I have just quit smoking. This person is telling us something about himself. Like he had to stop doing this habit. Like that habit was what was natural to him. James Clear says that all of your goals should be like identity based. And if you want to be healthy, so like you start with, I am a fit person, I am a healthy person. So what are the decisions that a healthy and a fit person would take? I'm obviously not going to have a pizza or a burger every single day. I will pick fresh fruits and vegetables and lots of protein. And then that becomes the outcome, the result of believing that you are this person and behaving as if you are. That gives you the outcome that you wanted in the first place. So he says the identity outwards should be the approach towards achieving any goal in life. And this is kind of related to what the law of attraction tells us. And if you want to know more in detail about it, let me know in the comments. But the law of attraction also says that behave as if you are and you will be halfway there. So just ask the universe for it and already behave the way as if you have it. Like, if I'm going to use the same example because it's the easiest way to explain it. Like, if you want to lose 10 kgs, behave as if you are 10 kgs lighter. What would a person who is of that fitness do? What would they eat? How would they move? What are the lifestyle choices that they will make? And you should like behave accordingly. So that influences more of those behaviors and finally gets you to your desired outcome. And James Clear also said that you have to keep doing these things so that you can get proof that you are this person. If you say that you're a non-smoker and the fact that this person has refused the cigarette, that gives his brain proof that yes, he is a non-smoker, right? So you have to base your identity and keep giving yourself proof to support that identity that you have created. The next thing that he talks about is the law of behavior change. In case you have not read this book called The Power of Habit by Charles Duhigg, you might want to pick that one up. And that kind of describes this concept in more detail. There's a cue, a craving, a response, and a reward for everything that you do. So if you're hungry, that is your cue. Then you will crave for, say, a chocolate chip cookie. And then your response will be getting and buying that cookie and eating it, and then your reward will be just the fact that you enjoy the taste so much. And because it is so enjoyable, you will keep doing it again and again. So that is the main point that James Clear is trying to make. He says that there are 4 main laws of habit change, and that is what you should incorporate. So first, any good habit, he says, you need to make it obvious, easy, attractive, and immediately satisfying. And all the bad habits have to be the exact opposite of it, right? So invisible, ugly, hard, and unsatisfying. So what he essentially is saying is that we need to create fewer steps between us and good habits and more steps between us and bad habits. So for example, if you have a tendency to binge on junk food late at night, then don't keep them in your house. Don't have chips and ice cream and everything in your refrigerator. Right? If you want to practice exercising every morning, then you should keep your exercise clothes and maybe shoes where you are going to see them first thing in the morning. So it reduces that friction a lot. Right? So these kind of things we need to think about. And following this, the next step he says is to create a habit scorecard. I talked about it in detail a few weeks back as well. But basically in a habit scorecard, what you're doing is you're just observing all of your habits throughout the day. Put a plus where you think it's a good habit, minus where it's a bad habit, and equal to where it's just neutral. You know, like getting up and brushing your teeth. That's like, of course you will do it. So these kind of things that demarcate it, and then you will get a clear picture of what you are doing throughout your day and what you want to change, what you need to change, and those things. So a habit scorecard is a great first step towards any habit change. Next, there is this concept that James Clear talks about. It's called implementation intention. It's basically when we are starting off on a habit, then there should be an implementation intention around it, where we say that I will do a blank habit at blank time in blank place. So the location and the time is fixed. We have already made a commitment in our brains that we have to do this activity at that time, and just saying it out loud makes it a little more likely that you will do it. Another way to create new habits is by habit stacking. Say if you're in the habit of getting up in the morning, making yourself a cup of tea, and then say reading the newspaper, and you are trying to build a habit of having multivitamins early in the morning, then maybe you should keep your medicine box or the multivitamin box right next to where you keep your tea making things, so that when you reach for it in the morning, you'll immediately be reminded of it, and then you'll get it. You have to sandwich it between 2 things that you're already doing. Like, I wanted to start a journaling practice, and every morning I wake up, I drink a glass of water, and then I start working out. But then I put my journal right next to my bed where my water is. So after I drink water, then I journal, and then I start working out. So that kind of helped me bring in a new habit while keeping my old ones, obviously. Whenever we are creating new habits, we are obviously trying the path of least resistance. That is why it's so easy to continue in the bad habit loops and very, very difficult to break out of it and try to create some good habits. So one great idea is to have an accountability partner. So me and my best friend always keep each other in check. Even when we meet outside, we are trying to eat healthy meals, and we have these weekly check-ins of our weight and measurements and everything. So because we are both trying to work towards a goal to lose weight, and we keep each other very, very accountable, and we are very particular about our check-in calls and everything. So that if you want an accountability partner, reach out in your friend circle and find people who have the same goals as you. You cannot have somebody who's extremely lazy as your accountability partner, because they are not even being responsible for their own goals. So find someone who's as driven and as motivated as you, and I hope they help you reach your goals faster. Another thing James Clear talks about is having a 2-minute version of every habit. So exercising every morning becomes wearing my gym clothes. Drinking 5 liters of water becomes keeping a glass next to my bed. Journaling every single day becomes that just writing one line. So something like that. Like find the 2-minute version, the smallest unit. What is the smallest thing that you can do, and it will still be a step in the right direction. So whatever habit you're trying to create, break it down into the smallest part. If you're going to start a business, maybe just having ideas about what products to sell, just that small part, that can be your like the 2-minute version. So find whatever habit you're going to start and create the 2-minute version of it. Another tip is to use a habit tracker. I don't really follow the monthly habit tracker formats. They don't work for me. I like to follow the weekly habit tracker formats more. And what I basically do is just, I kind of change my habits out every 2 weeks, because there's something new that I'm trying to incorporate, or something which I used to do and I've kind of fallen off track and I want to like get back to it, something like that. But for people who are just starting out a new habit, I would suggest that it doesn't have to be too fancy. Just like in your calendar or wherever, just do an X on the days that you do the habit, right? And that is like the Jerry Seinfeld method, where you don't break the streak. You have to do it every single day. Or if you are planning to diet, then maybe get a meal tracker, put it in one of the apps like Healthify Me or FitnessPal or something like that, and track your food intake and everything. And even you can use Fitbit or Apple Watch or something like that for your exercise tracking if that's what you need. And those things will just keep you more accountable. Like you will, once you start doing something and you see that you've done it 5 days a week, and then the 6th day you feel a little lazy, you'll push yourself saying that I might as well complete the week. So it's just kind of an added motivation for when you're starting new habits. And finally, the most important thing is to reflect and review. I am a big believer in monthly reflections and weekly reflections. I feel like having a few prompts that help you through like understanding your progress and how you've done, they really push you in the right direction. So if you want to know the prompts that I use, let me know in the comments down below. I'll make a video about how I do my weekly reflections and reset and everything. Once you decide on like one habit to build, it's not going to be the same. Your life is not going to be the same. A lot of different obstacles might come up. So you have to continuously review and go back and keep doing this entire process over and over again for every new habit that you want to build. But the good part is that this process is very intuitive. And once you internalize the idea that you need systems and not goals, and everything is identity based, these two ideas have changed my life. Like, it's very dramatic to say it like this, but they have totally changed my life. And this is like the one non-fiction book that I would recommend every single person reads. This is one book that will give you the most value for your money, even like more value than the money you've paid for. And if you can implement any of the things that have been said in this book, your life is going to change for the better for sure. So that was the video, guys. I hope you like these lessons that I've learned from Atomic Habits, and please let me know in the comments down below what your favorite lesson was, and if you've read the book, what was your favorite part about it. I'll see you next week. Bye.